Hi everyone, we're going to make another card. This time we're going to see how well the precision stamper works with selective stamping. So we're going to make a card and I'll talk you through it. First I'm going to score this piece of Coastal Cabana cardstock. It's from Stamping Up. I'm going to just score it at 5.5 for a top folding card. We'll just open our stamper here. We're going to be using this background stamp from Hero Arts and Basic Gray from the Life of the Party. And if you'll notice, the very edge of the stamp does not go, the image doesn't go to the very edge of the stamp, so I'll show you how to work around that. So first what we're going to do is we're just going to set it right in there, right in the corner. And this stamp set I know is thinner. This way it's just not as thick, so I did put extra shims underneath. It's just grid paper. I just have a couple sheets of grid paper underneath just so that my cardstock will make contact with my paper. And I'm going to be using Paper Tray ink, Hawaiian Shores. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up my stamp and I'm going to stamp it onto my grid paper, and that's going to tell me where my stamp is going to land, since I don't have an image all the way to the edge of the red rubber. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll take our cardstock and we'll just lay it right in there, and I can position it because I can see the very edge of my image right here, and that way I know my paper is going to be centered, and I'm just going to use my magnets to hold my paper down. I'm going to re-ink it again. And I know that the top of the stamp is going to go right across there, so I didn't bother masking off the other side of the card. Okay, this one didn't come out right here, so we'll just close it again. And that's what I love about this, is that the background stamps typically, you know, they're so large it's kind of hard to get a good image, so what we normally do is we normally ink our stamp and then we place our cardstock on top, and then we have to brayer it down. So I like that if you don't get a good image, you could just re-ink it or just re-stamp it and it works just fine. So I'm going to remove this here, and I'm going to remove my base. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to put in our foam insert now, right in there, and I will turn this around so it's not so distracting. Selective Stamping, I'm going to be using the stamp set from Simon Says Stamp called Happy Every Day. I'm going to take the large sentiment, and I have my cardstock here. It's cut down to 4 1/4 by 2 1/4. I've traced it with a pencil, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to center my stamp and make sure that it's straight in that allotted space. Okay, now I'm going to pick up my stamp, and the stamp is going to pick up the grid paper, so you just have to adjust it. It's no big deal. Now you're going to put your cardstock back in place. You're going to take your Post-it, and what you're going to do is, I need a bigger Post-it, mask off just below the first line. We're going to use Harvest Gold. And then make sure you remove the mask and stamp down. Okay. Now we'll cover up this line right over here with a Post-it note. Okay, clean off the stamp. Make sure that it's dry, because if it's not dry, you'll get splotchy stamping. Okay, so we're going to mask off the third line and below, and we'll ink up the stamp. Now it's okay if the first word gets inked, because this mask will keep it from stamping. Okay, now you're just going to stamp. Okay, now you're going to take your Post-it and you're going to move it down. Okay. Okay, make sure that the back of your Post-it is not saturated, because this will bleed onto your other wording. So we want to stamp amazing, so we're going to make sure that it's covered. It's got that H that goes up, and we're going to be using Raspberry Fizz. Take your Post-it off. Okay, it's a little splotchy, so we can try that again. So mask it off. I just love that you have second chances and third chances, and you don't have to start all over. Okay, there you go. So now I'm going to mask that off. Clean off our stamp. And we're going to stamp the last word. Make sure it's dry. We're going to use Hawaiian Shores. Make sure you ink it up really good. And you see the D there and the top of the H did not make contact. So let's try it again. Make sure that it's inked well. And the D. There we go. Now it's there. So now you have your multicolored greeting, and just to add a little extra, we'll just clean off the stamp. Make sure it's dry. We'll use some Versamark. And we'll coat all of the words with Versamark. Okay, we'll set this aside. We'll take out our sparkle embossing powder. on there. Okay. Going to turn this into a banner, so we're just going to maybe trim off the bottom just a little bit. And just okay. Okay, so now we're going to mat this, and what we'll do is we'll just trim it and mat it again. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roughly cut it about right there. And I will adhere this down. Here. And I'm just going to trim it. And then we'll do the same thing. We will take some foam mounting tape, add it to the back of the banner. Score card. We will see if I can center this a little bit. About right there. I'm going to add some Kaiser Craft pearls. What we'll do is we will add these tiny ones to the stars. And then, oops. Oops. Excuse me. I'm never sure where to put these, but we'll just see. Okay. And there's our card. Selective stamping made easy. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.